Bro, you guys are not gonna believe it. Kim Kardashian just walked into, I'm not even joking right now. Kardashian just walked into a wedding dress store. I'm literally not even joking. Like, I just, look.
At first, a lot of people treated Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton like one of those celebrity pairings that pops up out of nowhere, gets everyone talking for a few days, and then fades out. But that is not what happened here. The sightings kept coming, the timing got louder, and then Tokyo pushed the whole thing into a different category. That was the point where people stopped brushing it off and started wondering if something bigger was taking shape behind the scenes. Once two huge names keep showing up around each other often enough, the public stops waiting for proof and starts building the story on its own. And honestly, that is why this has gotten so much attention without either of them needing to confirm much of anything. There is no ring, no dramatic reveal, no official relationship rollout, yet people are already talking, like this could be something serious. That is what happens when the pace starts doing the talking for you. Kim and Lewis were not linked once and then forgotten. The connection kept resurfacing, and every new sighting gave people another reason to look closer. Tell me in the comments whether you think this feels real or whether the internet is just doing what it always does when Kim is involved in turning every little detail into a full-blown event. Tokyo really changed the mood around this story. Before that, people could still pretend it was nothing and say maybe they were just in similar circles, maybe it was casual, maybe everyone was reading too much into it. But Tokyo made that harder. It did not feel like just another random public overlap. It felt more personal than that, more comfortable, more like two worlds starting to blend a little. And with Kim, people never believe things are random for long. The second a trip starts looking meaningful, the theories begin. Suddenly it becomes soft launch talk, future talk, and people trying to decode what every move is supposed to mean. That is also why the bridal chatter picked up so fast. It was not really about one confirmed moment. It was the energy of it all. The minute anything remotely bridal gets connected to Kim Kardashian, people lose all restraint and start stitching together their own version of the story. One rumor becomes 5. One image becomes a whole fantasy timeline. And because Kim is tied to such a polished brand world, the public instantly starts asking whether this is romance, strategy, or a little bit of both. That is the strange power of her image now. She can look like she is falling for someone, building a headline, teasing a new chapter, and feeding public curiosity all at the same time. Lewis makes it even more interesting because he does not come from the same kind of celebrity machine Kim does. He is massively famous, obviously, but his energy has always felt more guarded. Even when he is fully visible, there is still a sense that some parts of his life stay protected. That is what makes this pairing feel so unusual. Kim's life is public even when she tries to keep things quiet. Lewis can be in the spotlight constantly and still keep a layer of distance. Put those two styles together and people start wondering which direction this goes. Does Kim pull him deeper into her world, or does he keep this thing from turning into the kind of circus people expect? The reactions have been all over the place too, and some of them have been pretty harsh. A lot of people are not simply watching this unfold. They are already judging it. Some think Kim looks completely at home in another high-profile romance and knows exactly how to handle the attention. Others think Lewis may not want the full weight of Kardashian-level noise attached to his personal life. That is the thing about Kim. People rarely take anything involving her at face value. They assume there is always another layer. Even when she might just be spending time with someone, the public reads it like there has to be a deeper motive, a plan, or some bigger play happening underneath it.
Kim, move aside because Kylie Jenner is coming through with the real acting chops.
I've actually been meaning to talk to you. I heard you're working with Ioannis. I'm so jealous.
Do you know him?
Yeah, my sister introduced us like ages ago, and he was gonna do some Hulu thing for us, but then he was busy with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
No.
I'm definitely not mad at you. No.
Good.
I think it's amazing. You're like
leveling up.
This is apparently an official trailer for The Moment, a 24 mockumentary directed by Aiden Zamiri and based on the original concept by Charlie XCX. I know Kylie is only playing herself, but I've got to say she seems so natural on camera, very likable, very funny, and I didn't really expect to see her in any sort of acting role. I had no idea about this.
Then, over on the other side, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are giving a completely different kind of energy. And that contrast is what makes this whole topic so good. Kim and Lewis feel loud, even without saying much. Kylie and Timothée feel quiet, but somehow that quiet has only made people more curious. Their relationship has lasted long enough now that the early jokes are not really landing the same way anymore. At first, plenty of people treated them like a random crossover nobody expected to last. But it did last. It settled in. And once that happened, the whole tone around them changed. What makes Kylie and Timothée so interesting is the way they manage to stay visible without feeling overdone. They do not constantly flood the public with proof, but every now and then there's just enough to keep people hooked. A public appearance, a vacation clue, a little moment that gets people talking again. That kind of slow rollout keeps a relationship looking calm instead of forced. And in celebrity terms, that is actually harder to pull off than people think. It feels controlled, but not in a way that screams performance. That is why viewers keep circling back to them. The relationship does not feel loud, but it does feel steady. And now Kylie's side of the story is getting a little more layered because it no longer looks like she is only standing beside Timothée. It looks like she may be easing into parts of his world too. Awards season, film spaces, that more actor-adjacent image. People used to focus only on whether she fit into that environment. Now the conversation is shifting. More people are asking whether she is trying to build something there for herself. That changes the story. The second ambition starts overlapping with romance. People pay closer attention. It stops being basic couple gossip and starts feeling like a bigger shift in image and direction. The acting angle is what gives Kylie's side of the story that extra kick. Once someone says they are getting scripts and want to do more, the internet immediately starts imagining what that next era could look like. Some people are still going to roll their eyes and say it is just another celebrity trying to move into Hollywood. But others will see it differently. Kylie already knows how to hold attention. She already knows how to turn herself into a talking point. So if she lands the right project, the conversation could flip fast. People who were laughing at the idea could suddenly start saying she timed it perfectly. Then there is the future talk, and that always pushes things into a more serious lane. Kylie has been open about wanting more children. And once that becomes part of the public conversation, people naturally start looking at her relationship differently. Not because it means some giant announcement is around the corner, but because it makes the whole thing feel less temporary. That is where the comparison between these two storylines gets even more interesting. With Kim and Lewis, people keep asking if everything feels too fast. With Kylie and Timothée, people keep asking if the slower pace is actually what makes it more real. One story feels high voltage, the other feels more measured. Both still pull people in. That is probably why people cannot stop talking about both of these relationships at the same time. It is not just that Kim and Kylie are both attached to huge names. It is that the pairings feel like total opposites. Kim's situation feels flashy, headline-heavy, and impossible to separate from image, timing, and public attention. Kylie's feels smoother, quieter, and maybe a little more believable because it has not been pushed in people's faces nonstop. One looks like it could explode into an even bigger spectacle at any moment. The other looks like it could quietly become very serious before the public fully catches up. Step back for a second, and that is the bigger picture. Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton have people locked in because there is just enough there to keep the internet spinning without anyone needing to spell everything out. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet have people locked in because they stayed low-key long enough for the relationship to outlast the mockery and turn into something people are now taking seriously. Those are two completely different ways to hold attention, but both are working. One is powered by spectacle. The other works because it feels controlled. One makes people think it is moving fast. The other makes people think it might actually last. And that is where the story gets fun because right now the questions are more interesting than the answers. Is Kim heading into something genuinely serious? Or is she simply better than anyone else at making every move feel huge? Is Lewis enjoying this? Or does the attention eventually become too much? And with Kylie and Timothée, are we looking at a couple that has already found its rhythm? Or are we still in the stage where everything looks smooth because the pressure has not fully hit yet? Add Kylie's acting ambitions into the mix, and suddenly this stops being simple relationship chatter. Now it starts to look like a bigger change in status, career, and public image. So no, this story is not cooling off anytime soon. Kim and Lewis still have that high attention, high risk energy that keeps people refreshing for updates, while Kylie and Timothée have that quieter chemistry that makes people keep guessing. Two sisters, two very different relationship styles, two completely different ways of pulling in attention. But the result is the same. People cannot stop watching. So now I want your take. Which relationship feels more real right now, Kim and Lewis or Kylie and Timothée? And do you think Kylie stepping further into acting is a smart move? Or is that where things could start getting messy? If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below.